Hey guys, Gregorovic here, and today I'm going to bring you what may well be the shortest challenge mode boss guide in history. So this video is going to be challenge mode Greg, which is Global Dungeon 2 boss. It's a Sliske boss. Now, before I start the video, I'm going to say if you haven't watched my video on the normal mode, I advise you go watch it now. Pause the video, go watch it, come back, because I will not be covering anything I mentioned there. So for gear setup for this, so I tend to prefer having quite high defense, so I take tier 80 power armor as opposed to Void, for instance. I also have Venom Blood on my on one of my armor pieces. Now Venom Blood is extremely useful here because it allows you to ignore part of one of the mechanics. In terms of aura, I take a Vampirism aura, but you can take an accuracy aura or like penance or reverence or anything like that. This boss is really not that difficult. So for my inventory, I take overloads, take prayer pots, I take an adrenaline pot which I use on my very first kill of the trip, and then I just take the rest. I take sharks. You can take bruising and rocktails. Rocktails are going to be better than bruise here, and I'll explain why in a bit. It's to do with the second phase. So the only difference in this fight, in the standard fight, so the first phase, he's got the same health, the same damage, the same mechanics, except that instead of spawning one red spirit, he will spawn two, and these will be the closest two masks that he spawns the red spirits from. So, that's the first 200k done. So, the rest of this guide is going to be talking about the second phase. So, in the second phase, what he will do is he will turn you into himself, and he will spawn a series of like 5 or 6 ads, and these will be melee range mage. These are sort of random what they spawn as, and these hit hard. So whilst you're transfigured into Greg, you cannot use abilities, you cannot use prayers, you cannot change the position of food from your beast of burden to your inventory, you can't drink flasks. The only thing you can do is auto attack and eat. So before you go into this phase, which is when Gregorovic will hit 0 HP, make sure you have your make sure you've got your inventory fully stocked with food. So what you do in this phase, now every time you eat in this phase, you will basically get sort of a bit of a stun lock. So if you eat all the way up to full. You might need to eat in this phase. This is honestly the biggest damage spike in the boss kill. Now what you want to do, you want to be focusing the enemy types that are strong against the style that you're using. So if you're using range, you want to be targeting the melee ones first. If you're using melee, you want to target the mages first. Now when you auto attack, you auto attack each time you click, so spam clicking is good here. Spam clicking on your target is really good. When you attack, you actually poison them, and the glaive will bounce to the nearest target. One nearest target, as long as they're close enough. So it's a good idea to sort of lure these all together, so that you can just mass AoE them. Now during this time, periodically, Greg will heal for 10,000. I should mention he's not actually attacking you in this phase, he's just standing still. Healing for 10,000 every now and then. Once you kill all the ads, then you will be able to fight Greg again. Now, when the pattern of his special attacks that Greg will be on seems to me to be a bit random, but it seems more often than not is when he's going to cool down the spikes from the ceiling that do magic damage. But you have to be on the ball for this, because if it's a knife attack that he comes out opening with, you have to be prepared to devotion straight away, or debilitate, or what have you. So yeah, the fight will recommence once you've killed all the ads, and he will have the same health that he will have the health that he regained during that phase. So you want to get rid of that phase as quick as possible. But the mechanics of the fight are exactly the same in this next phase, and then once you kill him, he's dead. This boss is that simple. So I'm gonna commentate one kill and then I'm gonna sign off, because honestly this boss is super quick. So I'm starting the kill by positioning myself near the poison mask, which is the one to the north. Now I've actually stalled since the previous kill, stored adrenaline. If you haven't been able to store adrenaline, then use an adrenaline pot so that you can devotion or debilitate. Either will work on this. So once the I failed on that red spirit, so 2 red spirits will spawn. The poison one you can completely ignore if you've got venom blood. So you just have to tap the next. You have to tap the other red spirit. That's basically it. Okay, so as you can see, I'm protecting range. Well, now there's the spirits, so I'll commentate this better now. So you have to make sure you tag the spirits. Now these spirits have higher defense than Greg himself, so this is why you might want accuracy auras, just so that you don't miss. So yeah, the fight's like normal mode. So protect range when he does the knife throw, which is when he spins the glaive in his hand up in the air. Then switch back to soul split once he summons red ads, and then when he throws his glaives up into the air, just move out of the AoE on the ground, and you should be set. So we're actually fast approaching phase 2, which, if you've seen my normal mode video, like phase 2 is the only thing you really need to see here. That's the only real difference. Obviously tagging these ads can be quite easy. It can happen where he'll actually teleport to one of his shadows, which would bring the poison spirit not being one of the closest. So you have to be prepared for that if he does that. Okay, so now he's changed us into Greg. Now, I had actually put as much food as I could from my beast of burden into my inventory before this, because you can't move food around once you're changed into Greg. So I ate up all the way. Now I'm spam clicking, as you can see on these, to try and get myself to attack quicker, which does actually work. So this is perfect. Like, you've got 2 targets right next to each other here. They're both poisoned. The second target will take half as much damage, so if you're attacking 2 targets, you want to sort of put a few hits on one and a few hits on the other, and they'll both die at the same time. So it's about 5 or 6 ads. I don't know for certain how many, but it really doesn't last long. So now he's back alive with the amount of health he had restored during that time. I believe I'm actually gonna, I'm gonna sign here because I ran out of prayer points whilst I was Greg. So that's basically why I signed there. That wasn't like a spike damage. He basically used a knife attack, and I had no prayer points left, so that's why I signed. But yeah, the rest of the fight is just so simple. I will say that, like, you want to keep an eye on your prayer points during this, especially when he turns you into himself, because you can't actually turn off prayers during that either. So you want to keep an eye on your prayer points. Make sure you're still prayed up after phase 2, and yeah, like phase 1 and 3 are really simple once you're into the rhythm of it. and there's honestly no reason why you shouldn't be able to manage several kills per trip. I actually find this boss to be good to do on challenge mode to farm for the pet, because you can actually do this boss quicker than double the time of normal mode, and the boss pet has a double drop chance on challenge mode. So yeah, thank you for watching. That's it for the guide. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.